very briefly, I go through the transformation process. As Dennis said, that the whole concept of this Future SME project is to enable the small to medium-sized enterprises, SMEs, to achieve sustainability and growth. How do we do this? How can we achieve it? We come to this conclusion that the organization in this day and age that everything changes very quickly have to become adaptive. How these organizations become adaptive, they have to build capabilities. And this is about building 4 major capabilities within an organization. And these are managerial capability, strategic capability, operational capability, and adaptive capability. How do we develop these capabilities? Is through this transformation process or transformation framework that very briefly I'm going to talk to you about. Leo Tolstoy says something very interesting. He said, everyone thinks of changing the world, but no one thinks of changing himself. And there's lots of truth in this. And in order to overcome this, in this project that we are talking about, the Future SME, we decided that the transformation has to happen within both individuals and the company, or individuals and collective transformation has to go hand in hand. And there is a beautiful quotation which says, no whole can survive without its vital parts, and no parts can survive without the coherence of the whole. In other words, you can use the analogy of the cell in the human body. Health of the cell contributes to the health of the body, and healthy body contributes to the health of the cell. The cell and the body are interconnected, interdependent, the same as individual and the company. And how this transformation should happen has to be based on something very consistent, very solid, and very universal, which we call it universal values or universal moral values. And these are values like trustworthiness, truthfulness, fairness, justice, etc. You'll be amazed and see over the recent past, and this is one example of this Harvard Business Review, how much these values becoming important in the life and sustainability of a company. In the Harvard Business Review, it says, in this new reality, in which big businesses are failing, trust, reliability, and relationships are the new competitive advantages. And really, these are part and parcel, a core of the building the capabilities within an organization. Another aspect that is very important to the building the managerial capability and also creating a very innovative and very cooperative environment is helping the team leaders or managers or owners to move from this concept of thinking alone to thinking together, and we call it thinking together as one brain. And how to get them together as work as one brain. And we have developed within the Future SME methodology, we call it Big 7, that allows people to think and act together in a very, very united way, which also builds relationships. As we move from thinking alone to thinking as one brain, the certain things are happening. Ownership of the decisions are improved, the commitment to organization and to decisions are improved. The companies become more innovative, and the people take more responsibility, and communications improve, and motivations improve. Of course, if you want to think on your own and make decisions, the decisions are very fast, very efficient, and you have total control. And probably that's why most of us in industry try to think alone. But if you really want to have those qualities that you mentioned earlier on, we have to move to the thinking as one brain. And this is part and parcel of our transformation framework. And by doing this, in other words, when you take the transformation individual and company based on universal values and get them to think together, we create a very strong workplace. And that we call it a strong workplace. And we have tools to actually assess the strength of the workplace. The next stage in this framework is just imagine that somebody is giving you a box full of the jigsaw pieces. And I know what the first question you're going to say, where is the box? And we have to look at the box. Otherwise, we're going to take a long time to work out how the pieces go together. And Often you'll be amazed when you go to an organization, you see all these pieces are in people's computer or people's head or in the shelves, and nothing on the walls that people can be able to see. And as soon as people see something and have a common vision, then can start putting the pieces together and achieve their goal. Therefore, this is one of the aspects of this transformation process, the ability to create a visual strategy.
The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Visual strategy is got 4 components. The first component is a guiding vision, and that guiding vision earlier on will allow us to have a look at the big picture. Another aspects of the visual strategy is ability to read external realities. What are the opportunities? What are the threats? What is happening out there? And what are the trends? And it should be done in a systematic way. And then this is something that is called in the project, we call it horizon scanning. But in reality, it's how we read the external reality. As we're reading the external reality, also the another part of this visual strategy, how do we read the internal reality? What is actually happening within the company? And what are the strengths? What are the weaknesses? And what are the key performance indicators? How do we benchmark ourselves against other companies, etc.? And this has to be also there in a very visual way, and that becomes part of visual strategy. And also, then, when we know where we are, which is the internal reality, when we know where we want to go, which is guiding vision, then we will be able to put the strategy map together. And this strategy map will help us to get from where we are to the next stage, which with the help of the guiding vision, to get to the next stage. And in reality, it's going to look something like this. As you can see on the left-hand side, people actually physically draw how they want the company to look like in 5 years' time, 10 years' time, etc. And then what are the values of the companies? And then when they create the strategy map, they stick it on the wall, or they have a big whiteboard and they put it under there. Or nowadays, some people have monitors that they put on the wall, and you can see the things as it changes. Once we start visual strategy, the next stage would be to put the decisions or lines of action into action. We call it act together. In other words, everybody pushing the same direction to achieve the goals of the visual strategy board. And the result of this acting together, basically, it becomes visual management. How to show the results and the common reality or the current reality within in a very visual way that everybody knows what is happening, and we can communicate and we can talk about it in a more realistic way. And you can see companies we mentioned earlier on, they have different ways of working with this key performance indicators and visual management. And this is one example of one of the companies we are working with in the west of Ireland. This is another example. The next stage to close the loop is reflecting together. In other words, many companies, they think together, they act together, and they think together and act together, and suddenly you realize that the same mistakes are being repeated. If the same mistakes are repeated and the learning is not happening, that means there is no reflection happening. And the reflection happens in the light of the external reality, by scanning horizon in a very systematic way, by looking at the visual management systems, by board exactly what the facts and figures are, and based on internal experience, external happening, we come to this learning, and we take that learning, we learn very quickly, and take it to the next cycle, and then we go round and round. And this is some example of people reflecting and thinking together. And as we go round and round, we build our capabilities. The first mentioned by universal values and personal and collective transformation and thinking together, we build managerial capabilities. And we go through the cycles and we go through this visual strategy board, we build strategic capabilities. By acting together and using different tools, we build our operational capabilities. And by using visual management and visual strategy and learning and reflecting, we build adaptive capabilities. And that cycle repeats itself like a spiral. The capability grows and the company grows. this process, this cycle of growth or framework for transformation is supported by our Future SME portal. We've got tens and tens of tools that as we go around, according to the sector that we are in and according to our needs, we can pull in these tools and use them at appropriate time. Therefore, what is the ultimate competitive advantage, as we mentioned earlier on, is basically something that Jack Welch said, an organization's ability to learn and translate that learning into action rapidly is the ultimate competitive advantage. Therefore, this is basically the key to transformation of the company. I'm going to stop over here and pass it on back to Dennis, and then during the question and answer, I will be able to answer some of your questions. And thank you very much for your attention. Back to you, Dennis.
Okay, Arwen, thanks very much. And now I'm going to hand you over to Jimmy Roach. Jimmy is the Managing Director of Roach Manufacturing, or ROCO, which is based in rural County Galway. Jimmy set up the business in 1998. In 1988. He's a mechanical engineer by background. ROCO as a company has won several design and environmental awards for various products over its life. Jimmy is a test partner within the Future SME project and will now reflect on his experiences using the transformation process. I would like to remind you that if you'd like to ask any questions, please do so on your menu bar, and I will address them to the two guys at the end of the session. So, Jimmy, I'd like to hand it over to you now.
Thanks, Dennis. Can you hear me okay? Hello,
Kennedy,
Dennis?
yes, you can, yeah.
Oh, good, okay.
Yes.
Thanks very much, Dennis, and thanks for everyone. That's a very good presentation. I'll just get myself up and running here. Okay, so my name is Jimmy Roach. I'm the owner and managing director of Roach Manufacturing Limited, and we're located in Montbellew in County Galway. We've been involved in the Future SME project since 2009, and I want to talk to you today about how we engaged in the transformation process, as Ardwan just spoke about in the last few minutes. Our company, as I said, is located in Montbellew. We're established in 1988. Our main focus is in the design and manufacture and the marketing and the servicing of our own branded products. And we're export orientated. We moved into our new premises in 2008. Our products include, we deal with four sectors. One is the pre-stressed hollow core concrete industry, which is the largest turnover part of our business for us. We're also involved in agriculture sector, particularly in the area of weed control for the agriculture sector. Thirdly, then we're involved also in utilities and telecom companies with pole handling for the transmission of electricity and telecommunications. And finally, we're working a little bit in renewable energies and looking at the whole area and looking for opportunities there at the moment. Just to give you some context of how we engaged in the transformation process in the context of what was going on for us within the company at that time. Like a lot of people experienced in 2008, 2009, we had a major downturn in business and turnover. From our outset, we were a growth company. We were in a strong growth trajectory, but 2009 came as a bit of a shock to us. Around the same time, we were involved we first became involved in the Future SME project. How did this downturn affect our business? We had little or no new orders coming online. As a result, we had to have our workforce. Everybody that was left got a 30% wage cut, and we were very much in survival mode. We were literally falling out of the tree. But as everybody knows, it's easy to fall out of a tree. You're literally not in control. you know, you just have to wait till you hit the ground, and then you can get up and start to fight back. But you know, like all businesses, you know, at some point in time, we feel now that we've actually hit the ground, we found we're stabilised, but we have found that we had to look around to see what damage was done. So we looked and saw our turnover had depleted to 30% of our 2008 turnover. Our workforce had depleted to an all-time low. We did start up a retail unit here in the factory to sell machine parts and hydraulic parts. This kept our you know, local business going and kept everything reasonably vibrant in the factory. We were working away, but you know, at a much diminished rate. Our Irish market was completely gone. Really, there's very little to be had, obviously, in the construction sector. Agriculture was growing a little better, and we're still maintaining our own in the utilities, lines, construction, ESB type businesses. But everything we were doing pretty much in the construction sector was for export, and I'd say 80% of our turnover was export. So we were climbing back up the tree. This is where the challenge was to come. And this is where the future SME, we really engaged with the future SME. Ardawan, who we just spoke to you a few minutes ago, came in and we started to work on our strategy wall. The strategy wall is a methodology or a framework onto which you run your business. And in our case, it was a methodology for regrowing our business and looking to the future. Here we can see the strategy wall is very much a visual on-the-wall type of strategy, whereby we have our strategy boards are on the wall at all times, and we're literally reading stuff from the wall. So this is where the word strategy wall comes from. The idea of the strategy wall is that you first go back to your basics, where we study our guiding vision, why we're doing what we do and how we do it. You know, this is the basic reasons as to why any of us are in business. Then we examine the external realities, obviously the opportunities and threats outside our own company, which in this case was our financial problems we're having worldwide. And then we look at our internal reality, the strengths and weaknesses within the company. And once we have these things established, we had these things written on our strategy wall, highly visual, so that everybody could see them on a daily basis. Then, as a group within the company, we worked with regular meetings. The purpose of the meetings were to reflect on what had happened in the past, to think about what we want to do in the future, and to act on them things, and then come back again, reflect on the actions we had done at the last meetings, and you know, so it was become a regular meeting and a constantly evolving thing, which is important to remember that you know, the strategies today may change, and the strategies tomorrow may, you know, evolve and change a little bit. These are just a list of the goals and strategies that we set out at the outset. We obviously wanted to increase our turnover from our low point we were at. We wanted to delegate responsibilities. I suppose I was guilty a little bit of trying to be all things to all people and do everything myself, so delegation was responsible. We said we would focus on the agricultural sector of our business, which seemed to have a little bit of growth at the time. In order to do this, we would attend trade shows, and do some advertising. We also put in a visual management system. Here on the right you can see, and in our retail shop, where we have our board on the wall where literally everything is put on the board so everybody can see what's going on at all times, and all our moves and strategies are clearly communicated through the visual boards on the wall, literally. We put in monthly financial reports. These were things that were very important to keep control of our financial situation at all times, constant financial monitoring, and regular meetings to bring all the stakeholders along with us as we went along. This is a picture of our retail outlet, which Anne took over the responsibility of when we delegated that to her. And on the right-hand side, you can see our manufacturing facility where I took on that myself. This is an example of the monthly financial reports that we were doing. This gives a very visual, very simple, straightforward method of keeping an eye on our finances. So that would work very well for us, and as time went on, things kind of stabilized a little bit, and we were quite happy. And earlier in 2000, about late last year, we started to grow a little bit, and we seemed to get a little bit more interest from our customers. In one particular case, we got quite a substantial order from in Russia through our distributor in England. So we decided to fully implement our strategy management system and our transformation process in this. So first of all, we went along. So we had first we had a planning meeting with all the staff. We used our visual strategy board detailing key stages in the project and delivery times as to when our customers expecting to get delivery of the products. We continued to have our 10-minute weekly meeting to monitor progress and raise issues. This is a real live use of our strategy goal and the transformation. We were actually transforming our company. We had to rebuild our company up, and this is a very good framework for us to do it with. As a result of our regular meetings and open communications, we had input from everybody involved. It was a positive experience. Everybody was aware of the expectations. We had an improved work quality. We delivered our product on time, and everybody was happy, from the employees to the customer and the management. So it was a positive experience. So here we can see our workforce with the order complete, ready to go to Russia sometime earlier on this year. Everybody was very happy and very proud, and it was a great experience, and it was all built pretty much on the strategy wall and the transformation process. Some other tools that we use or we have used with the futureSME, which are very interesting. It's not just the strategy wall. There are other tools. The particular one is the capability assessment tool. This is whereby you can go into the futureSME, and I would encourage people to go in and take a look at the futureSME website. You can do a questions and a multi-question. You can answer a lot of questions. There's questions when you go into the capability assessment tool. There's a lot of questions asked. You give yes, no, or maybe, or whatever, and you end up with a footprint like we see here on this slide. You can see that in September 2011 we did this diagnostic, and yes, we were very happy in the process management into things. Performance management was mediocre and leadership was low. So you can really literally map your position at any one time under a lot of headings. Obviously, then as time goes on, you review your position, you work on the weak ones, and you can see in September 2012 we redid it again, and you can see all the dots moved out towards the green area, and ideally, in a perfect company, we want to be in the green area. So thankfully, with our review of our diagnostic in September, things seem to be moving out towards the green area, so that was positive. Other tools we used were the Design for the Environment tool. These tools are all available in the form of apps on the website. And this is where you take a look at your products and see how you can improve the impact of your products on the environment. Simple, easy, but very positive, and provokes a lot of thought. Very good. There's collaborative decision-making tools, which are just basically talking about how you communicate and collaborate with your staff and management. And then financial analysis spreadsheets. These are just examples of the ones that we used. I would encourage everybody to take a look at the futureSME website, and it's well worth doing. You can take a look at all the apps there. There's quite a number of them on it, and it is a growing number of apps every day. So anyway, as for us, we continue to show a small upturn in our business. In fact, only 2 days ago, we received another order from Russia, from our happy customers from before, which will keep us busy now up until the new year, so it's positive all around. Overall, the conclusion as to what has happened since in the last 12 months, we've experienced growth in demand for our products. We have continued to show growth in our business. We've increased our workforce. We're on target to achieve our goals set out in our strategy wall 2011. This rebuilding of our company is being done using the framework set out by the strategy wall and the transformation of your business. I think for all small companies, we need to think of the future. We're moving into a changed world. We're not going back to where we came from. We are going into a different future. And by using the transformation process, as all companies transform every day and change, we need to use some framework in the strategy. The strategy wall system I found to be very good. So thank you very much for your time, for listening, and we'll talk to you again. Back to you, Dennis. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Jimmy, for that presentation. And I'd now like to ask people if they have any questions or comments with regards to the presentation, and we'll address those to Ardwin and to Jimmy. First, before I do that, I'd like to apologize that I think there was some problem with the audio at the beginning of the session. However, I believe you didn't lose much except me talking and introducing it. I believe the audio would have started at the time when Ardwin started his presentation. So again, apologies for that. So if down at the bottom of your screen, you should have the ability to be able to ask questions. So if you can please send us those, and we can talk it to the guys. I have a few here already which have come through, and the first one is for you, Ardwin, and maybe you can address this. Is what is involved in terms of time, resources, and costs in implementing the transformation process in a company? Could you take that?
Okay. Yes, Dennis. No problem. This is a question that's usually been asked. And unfortunately, I have to be very honest, there is no quick fix in this. People have to go through the cycle, one cycle after cycle over a period of time. From our experience, we find out if the company shows commitment to the process, within 3 to 6 months, going through 4 or 5 cycles, we'll be able to start the transformation. And probably will take about 3 to 4 cycles, and then involves about 10 to 12 half-day sessions. Then you go and work with the company. Regarding the cost, it depends what country you are. But for example, in Ireland, Enterprise Ireland provides some financial support for this. That basically depends on the task that you want to achieve, how long would it take, etc. And I recommend, if you are interested, talk to us.
Okay, thanks, Ardwin. There's another kind of follow-on question from that. And if you noticed earlier on, there was a number of academic people who were on the program. There's a question here: is it applicable to organisations outside the manufacturing companies or outside of SMEs?
Yeah. Yes, a very good question. The slides I showed you, the examples of the visual wall and the people that you saw, that happened in a service industry, and we have applied this one to the service industry, to non-organization, the non-profit organization, and NGOs, and also in manufacturing. Therefore, the transforming process is equally applicable to all sorts of the industries, small and large, because even large companies I work with usually work with the department or with the team, which is like a small company. The only difference is that when we are going through the cycles, we definitely pull different tools to use. That one tool that's applicable to manufacturing may not be applicable to, say, a service industry. It's just use of the tools. And they have loads of tools to choose from, and majority of tools are applicable both for non-manufacturing and non-manufacturing industries. Back to you, Dennis.
Yes, and I have a question here for Jimmy. Well, it seems to be for Jimmy anyway, which is, what is the most valuable lesson that you learned during the transformation process that you were on?
Thanks. Well, I think that thinking about that, the probably the most valuable thing to us is we were coming off a difficult time, and business was gone a little bit haywire. The most important thing for us is we had to go back to basics. We had to take a look at the guiding vision of our company. I felt that was very strong. When you have to get up and dust yourself down and look at yourself, you have to say, well, but why am I doing this? What's the idea? You have to go back to the basic principles. So the guiding vision for me stood out as being the most important thing. From that, once you've established clearly why you're doing it and why you want to do it and how you see the future and your guiding vision for the future, then you can build from there again. So for me, that was, a renewing of our business, which we were doing, and from that, we are still rebuilding our business. But having a clear guiding vision and goals, set goals, is important. I think that's the most valuable thing.
All right, thanks, Jimmy. I think I have just one final question that I see here, and I think it's probably for you, Ardoin. And I think it was relation to the tools that Jimmy mentioned in his presentation. What's the process for accessing those on futureSME, or is there a charge?
No, at the moment there's no charge. I think people can go to the website and register and have access to all diagnostic tools and all the other tools, and also there are lots of useful information that everybody can benefit from, being academics or being a practitioner, etc. That you can benefit from it. And also some of the things that we're using is not brand new, they're all over the place, but we managed to put them together in a very cohesive way over the 4 years of working for 13 SMEs very intensively. We managed to just pull in the things that are useful and use them very effectively. Therefore, it really is open, and I recommend people go and have a look at it and look at some of the tools. And probably, I reckon that most people have got the experience and knowledge. Look at these jigsaw pieces. So you also have them. It's just a matter of how to put them together is a question. And hopefully people benefit from it. Therefore, I recommend highly to people to go register and have a look at it. And at the moment, it's free of charge, absolutely free.
Okay, I have a follow-on question from that, Ardoin, which is maybe a difficult question for you to answer, which is what is, in your opinion, is the most useful tool on the website?
I think, see, I'm a bit biased here, Dennis, because the company I work with, ability to think together, I think probably is the big seven. I think is the very greatest tool. The other tool is visual management and visual strategy. And this gets people started, because really, otherwise, different tools go to be different tools. These three tools are highly recommended. Big seven, ability to think together, visual strategy, and visual management.
Okay, thanks. Yeah. Okay, thank you very much. I think that's. I don't see any other questions coming in at the moment. Just check one more side. There's one question which I don't quite understand, which is your opinion, please, for SMEs. But I mean, I think we've covered that this is for all is for SMEs. This particular process and program is for SMEs. So thank you very much, guys, for doing that. We've reached the end of the webinar, and I would like to thank you all for attending it, and hope you got something out of it. Just to bear in mind that if you have any questions about this, if you go into the website futureSME.eu, you can leave comments there, and you can contact us in that way, particularly if you want to get back to Jimmy or Ardoin about specific issues. This is the third in a series of webinars that we're running this week, and we have 2 further webinars today and 1 tomorrow, which you can see on your screens at the moment. At 2 o'clock today, Professor Petici, who is the leader of the project and is from the University of Strathclyde, will present the futureSME capability diagnostic that, if you recall, Jimmy alluded to this in his presentation. UMIT will be accompanied by Bill Dickey from Houston Bottling and Co-Pack, which is involved in the whisky bottling sector in Scotland, and who will describe his experiences in using the diagnostic to help him focus on areas of improvement for his business. At 4 o'clock this afternoon, Zaren Buckingham will present her experiences of introducing business-related concepts such as lean into the curricula of second-level schools in order to prepare students better for working in industry. This is quite an interesting area, and if you wish to do that, I will show you in a few minutes. Tomorrow at 2 o'clock, we have a special webinar by the Bank of Ireland describing how they assess the viability of business cases presented to them. This is a practical session, and it's a must for any manager expecting to look for funding in the near future. If you wish to access those webinars, if you can go into our website, which may be a good thing to do anyway, and on the bottom left-hand corner of the front page, you'll be able to click on that to get more information and to sign up for those. Or if you wish, you can send me an email, which is at the bottom of the presentation. And finally, the session is now closed, and if you'd like a copy of the presentations today, please send me an email at this address. And also, we'd like to ask you to fill out the survey, which will appear on your screen when you exit the webinar. So thanks very much again, and bye-bye.
Thanks, Dennis.
Thank you. Thank you, Dennis. Bye-bye.